Welcome to the Mixtape Lounge. It's Carrie Stinson and Josh Martin. Mr. Martin, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Mr. Stinson?
I am good. What's going on, brother?
Oh my goodness, everything. You know it. I don't stop over here. We're doing football, soccer. I think we did homecoming the last time I saw you.
Yes,
Times three at the
yes.
same time. It was just it hadn't stopped. We got some AC issues, ductwork going on. I told you a little bit, but it don't stop when you own a home and have a family.
Yeah.
Woo, always got your hands full, right?
Yeah, man. Oh, absolutely. Mine's been cars this week, so and it's
Yeah,
either the
okay.
home or the cars.
Uh, y- uh,
We had
Knock
homecoming.
on wood, it
We
ain't
don't,
close right now.
I only had one with homecoming, so uh you had
Congratulations.
you had it three times.
Uh-huh. Woo, it was nuts. We had to go to three different places for three different pictures,
Oh, goodness.
and none of them were my house.
I
Oh
was
boy.
I got lucky because I actually had a photo shoot. So I had to shoot and jump
That's
out to Dallas. So my wife had to go. I had to give her a quick tutorial on the camera and send her out the
uh-huh.
door. And I shot
Oh,
out to
good.
Dallas and shot a 90-year-old birthday party. Um,
Oh,
Dude, it was
how was
like
that?
coffee talk. It was fabulous. It was absolutely, she had the glasses, the whole thing. It was
Uh-uh.
fabulous.
Oh, can you post some of those pictures?
I will. I'll have to.
Okay.
Louise Rosenberg, 90 years old. Congratulations.
I guess so. Coffee
Yeah, and
talk.
just
Louise
fabulous.
Rosenberg? Wow.
Fabulous. I mean, the
You got
coffee
any
talk
video? I want to hear
glasses.
her say something.
Oh, just absolutely fabulous. So that was
Awesome. Congrats.
that was a treat. I loved the
Happy birthday,
photography.
Louise.
Absolutely,
Miss
man.
Rosenberg.
And then man, we had Creech on last week.
Look, I'm still recovering. I'm still recovering. I hope this episode makes it to air this week because we might get canceled. No, I'm kidding. No, we won't get canceled. We push some censorship boundaries as we knew we would with the creature.
Yeah,
But that's the lounge, isn't it?
what is there was a little editing that had to be involved.
You know, eh, it happens sometimes.
Well,
Nobody's perfect.
we're going from that to a completely different route this week. Yeah,
180
yeah,
U-turn.
on the lounge, everyone loves having them on, and we love having them on. And this is just a very special treat that we have today, Mr.
Yeah, it
Martin,
is.
as we are
Yes,
going
it
to bring
is.
on Courtney Cook. Courtney was with us on tour, and really nothing more to say. Let's just get her on this show and let's talk about it with her in the
Get in
lounge.
this lounge. Get in this lounge.
There she is. There she is. Courtney Cook, what's going on?
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
Courtney,
How are you guys?
great. How are you?
Good, good. It's so good to see
Welcome.
you.
It is so good to see you. You look great.
Hey,
We
Yes,
so do
indeed.
you guys.
before we got
Go
this thing
on.
started, we were talking to Courtney for a second, and Courtney mentions about a 20-year reunion of high school, which I know Josh and I are like, what?
Yes.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
that happened recently.
For reference, I just had my 30 year. So
Yeah, there you
yeah,
go. There you
there
go.
we go.
Well, Carrie, you
Uh-huh.
don't have to say Carrie. You don't have to say yours.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It's more than 30. Let's just leave it at that.
So yeah, we had our high school reunion last weekend and it was so good to see everybody and everyone would say hi like, "Oh, wait, you're that girl on Barney. You're the Barney girl, right?" I was like, "Yeah, that's me. That's, how they identify me."
And what is that like? I mean, how was that? I'm really curious. we've heard different stories over the years from different kids, and I've had them on Purple Roads, and Josh has talked to them about what it was like. What was it like, being on the show, and then you go back to school and the reactions?
Yeah. So for me, gosh, it was hard because I went on tour with you guys during my 6th grade year of school. So sorry, I'm having technical issues here.
No problem.
It's all right. It's the lounge. It's all good.
That's right.
There we go. So yeah, I went with you guys my 6th grade year of school, and I was when I was 11, turning 12, and I came back, and my first year back, I was in junior high. So that was just a big jump kid-wise anyway.
Goodness.
So I get to junior high, and it wasn't like it was a week ago when they're like, "Oh, great, you're that girl on Barney." It was, "Oh, you were that girl on Barney." Ugh. And I got mean girled a little bit. Kids are mean, and got made fun of a little bit. I had lunch in the library a lot with our librarian. She
Wow.
was she was nice. They got over it. I got over it. I would wear Barney t-shirts, like tour shirts, like our souvenir t-shirts, and
Right.
I wore my Barney watch all the time. So I wasn't hiding it. I wasn't ashamed of it or anything, but it was hard.
There you go.
Kids are
Sure.
kids. But by the end of high
Right.
school, everyone kind of, accepted it. We had senior jerseys that we had, and you put your nickname on the back of it. And my nickname was Barney Girl. So we embraced it eventually, and it was all good.
Nice.
Courtney, it's so funny when you talk about high school, because I always remember coming out to see you perform.
You did. You came and saw the one I remember most is our Wizard of Oz show. And that was
Yeah.
my senior year of high school. And I got to play
Wow.
Dorothy that year. So that was really special.
Yeah, I
Oh,
rolled
sweet.
out and saw that show, which I remember being really good.
It was. We had a really good cast. We have some professional actors now who are in that cast. Todrick Hall, Thomas Brazel, and they just, they played a Tin Man and Scarecrow. Our lion, he's so good. He sings still, and I just saw him the other night. So yeah, we had some talent right there in that little mix. So
I guess so. What did you play? What part did you play?
Dorothy.
Well, of course you were.
Of course I did.
That's
Yeah,
right.
they let a blonde,
Uh,
they let a blonde be Dorothy. It was controversial, but they let it happen.
well, there wouldn't be any other choice as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, well, thank you. It was
Yeah,
fun.
definitely. Right? That or that or Glinda the Good Witch, depending on who else was available. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Or you
Exactly.
could double up.
My best friend played Glinda. So we had way
Okay.
too much fun.
Awesome. Oh, hate I missed it.
So what was it like for you coming on? Think about when you showed up in Fort Worth, or maybe even we talk about Las Colinas first. When you
Mhm.
showed up at rehearsals for the first time, and it started
Yeah.
a little bit clear as you're meeting Miss Penny and we're going into rehearsals and all that. What are you thinking?
Oh, man. Well, the first thing we did wasn't rehearsal. The first thing we did was school. We
Oh,
had to start school like 2 weeks before rehearsal started. And we had a tutor who traveled with us, a teacher. Her name was Miss Rhonda.
Miss
And
Rhonda.
we're still in contact today. She's just an amazing woman. And she
Yeah.
taught us at the Las Colinas studios. They set a room aside for us, and we had pretty much everywhere we went on tour, they set a room aside for us, and we had all our books and all of our school stuff, and she'd teach us, and then we'd go to rehearsal. So
Wow.
And you
yeah,
Well,
showed up.
you were doing shows before that, right? I'm sorry, Carrie. You
No,
were
you're
doing
good.
shows before you booked Barney,
yeah,
or
yeah. I was
was
doing.
this your first gig?
No, it wasn't my first gig. It was my first like professional paid big deal gig.
Okay.
I was doing
All right.
comedy
All right.
theater. I was doing little commercials here and there, a lot of voiceover stuff. And I was in acting class at a school, a young actors studio in Dallas. And the guy who was on the TV show playing Barney at the time, he was one of the acting coaches there. And that's how I got the audition, they sent him looking for kids. And, so he recommended me for that audition.
Right on.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Nice
Yeah.
hookup. That's it.
Little
See,
bit.
ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, it pays to network.
Yes.
Pays to network and train, right?
Yes. Don't burn any bridges
Right.
ever.
That's
Heaven
it.
burn.
Yeah.
That's it. Man, I remember meeting you kids on tour and thinking, "Oh my goodness." I felt like a kid myself. I was just 21, but I couldn't
Mhm.
imagine what you guys were going through.
Well, it was something else. I mean, we were
Yeah.
11. I think we were 10 and 11. We were very
Yeah.
close in age. And we remember meeting all you guys. I think the first time we met the two of you, you guys had just had a rehearsal in your suits. So you guys came off all sweaty and gross, and you're like, hey guys, we're Barney. And we're like, all right, nice to meet you.
Yay.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
But it was
First impressions, ladies and gentlemen.
you never forget
Oh,
'em. You never forget them. And then, our parent, we had one parent or guardian that came with us on tour.
right.
For
That's
me, it was my
right.
mom. And so she
Uh-huh.
was with me all the time. And I mean, she'd drop us off for school time, and the moms would go do their mom thing. And then she'd drop us off for the show. They'd hang out backstage and all that. But it was a cool experience to have. It definitely brought mom and I closer. Not that we weren't close before, but we had this
I,
experience that, you know, not everybody got to have. So it
Well,
was
I
fun.
mean, no one got to have. We were talking
Mm-mm.
about it last week. We
it's
we
unique.
we had Creech on last week, and
Yes.
even a guy that was in rock and roll, as long as he was, like, he's never seen anything like that.
That's
To rock
right.
and
No.
roll
Yeah.
together with kids, and then with costumes and all of that, and the size of it. No one's done it
Yeah.
at that time. It was, as he was saying, Disney was out there, Disney on Ice and Sesame Street Live, but no, it wasn't like what we did.
No,
Now, what did
I remember it being described. It's a rock show. It's treated like a rock show. It's just Barney on stage. That's the only difference.
did you feel like that when you saw everything? What were you thinking once you were like in the middle of all of this kids rock
Oh,
show?
yeah.
You feeling like
I
a
mean, I
rock
think our
star yourself a little bit?
a little bit. And I mean, all of our little groupies down there are in diapers, but that didn't matter.
Yeah.
Um, no, it's unique because you tell people, yeah, I performed in front of tens of thousands of people at one time. Half of them were in diapers and under the age of 2, but they're still people. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
it was crazy how big those stadiums were that we played to,
right?
and just it was overwhelming. You'd go out on stage and just hear all. I mean, so the very first part of our show, Barney entered first, and there was all these special effects, and his entrance was epic. I mean, he came out in smoke and lights, and those kids and those parents went crazy. And us kids, we were just sitting backstage waiting for our entrance. We were like, "What is this? What is this? These kids are
Right.
going nuts!" And so it was just so high energy the whole time.
Uh-huh.
Um, just crazy. It was just crazy.
Yeah, it was. Those boys even talk about the roadies talk about that pop at the beginning. They call it. They said
Mhm.
it's louder than the than AC/DC.
Right.
When they come out at the beginning, they pop off those cannons. The crowd screams. Mo was like, That's louder than AC/DC."
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, speaking of being on the road too, we had buses, right? We're
Yes.
in the Mixtape Lounge, where this kind of jumped off from. What did you think about those buses when you first got them?
Oh, we loved the buses. The kids
Yeah.
loved the buses. I know some of the adults were not big fans of the bus, but we thought it was the
Okay.
coolest thing. I mean, it
What was
had
your
beds
favorite
in it.
thing?
It had
There you
TVs
go.
in it. It had
Uh,
Super Nintendo in it. It was
right?
we were playing Mario Kart in the back of the bus till, like 10 o'clock at night. And our parents were like, get back to bed. And Carrie's like, no, one more round, one more round.
That's
But it
so
was,
funny.
yeah, the buses were very cool. I think I preferred traveling on bus rather than airplanes, having to get through security and, sit and wait and everything. You just hop on the bus and you're, in your PJs and hanging out. So,
Oh yeah, Josh
There.
and I talked about that for as adults. That whole going to the airport thing was, I mean, it was all day, early
yeah,
morning, and then the luggage,
yeah.
getting it all there, and ooh,
Oh, the
yeah,
luggage. Yeah, we went through lots of different pieces of luggage because I mean they got beat up, tore up, and if you didn't have like the really good kind, you were buying a new set like every month it seemed.
yeah, yeah. No, the buses were the greatest thing in the
Mhm.
greatest thing in the world.
And some of us newbies, after the first 4 months, you're like, okay, when I get home in December, there so much of this stuff is not coming back out. I don't
Oh
need
yeah.
half of this stuff, right?
hmm Right, like the big bulky shoes or boots that I mean we lived in Doc Martin era, so I mean those didn't come back. Those were done. Tennis shoes only, and I
Or if
mean
they
we
did, they were the ones on your feet, and that's it.
Mhm.
You just had those
Exactly.
shoes, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we scaled down a lot.
Well,
Those
Right
early
one.
it's funny you say that because you really didn't know, right? I mean,
Mhm,
I've been traveling, but I was doing, I was doing Barney stuff, but I was just, it's a weekend, right? Not out for
mhm,
3 months at a time. And so,
mhm.
Right.
you're trying to plan for it as best as you can. Uh,
Yeah.
but you get out there and you're like, oh, I got to carry this stuff everywhere and pack it up. And you're going to venues and, sometimes we
Oh, yeah.
split weeks. So a lot
And
of
the laundry, trying to figure out just where to do laundry was, just something you didn't even think about before you got out there. And that reminds me of
Right.
one of my favorite things that we did that year um, when Halloween came around. Us kids, we costumed up the best that we could, and we ran around the hotel and trick or treated with all of you guys.
Yes,
And
you did.
I think, Carrie, I think I sent you a picture of Josh trick or treating with us. I don't know if you have those or not. But speaking of laundry, I went as a bag of dirty laundry as the as my costume because we didn't have like costumes. We had to make things up, and that was the best I could do. So I had like all this laundry. I had one of those hotel laundry bags, those plastic bags on like as a skirt or a dress or something, and all these other clothes sticking out and everything. And then we went around and you guys went all out. You guys had little treats and candy, and some of you turned your hotel rooms into haunted houses. And it was a really fun memory for us that you guys like did all that for us.
I remember that. That was fun. That was fun for us too.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Yeah, no doubt.
absolutely. I remember doing a lot of that stuff with you guys, though.
hmm
You
Yeah,
know,
you guys were not afraid to hang out with us. Y'all didn't treat us like pariahs on the tour, which we kind of were prepared for. We were prepared for very split. Okay, the grown-ups are going to go do their grown-up thing, and the kids are going to go do their kid thing. But you guys would come on our school field trips with us. You guys went to dinner with us. You guys would go sightseeing with us. So, I mean, that was just really fun.
well, I think it was I mean, what an experience for kids.
hmm
I mean, what a
Yeah. So when
different, I mean,
we
Josh and
were
I
learning.
were at that time, Josh and I were both single. And so I mean, it's like a big adventure for us,
hmm
but a different experience for you.
hmm Yeah, we did, a unit on US history when we were in Philadelphia, and then we went and saw all the stuff, and then we went and did a show. So it was, yeah,
Yeah,
it was just a
I
crazy,
can imagine.
crazy way to live life.
That reminds me of like, of course, again, I was older, but I remember going to some of these places and thinking, oh, that's what that is, or that's what that looks like, or
Yeah,
that's smaller than I thought.
exactly.
Well, and we've
Or
Exactly.
the
talked about
opposite,
this.
that's bigger than I thought.
We've talked about this, Josh. Wasn't this the first time you saw snow out on tour?
It was in Pittsburgh. was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Yeah,
How crazy is that?
yeah. It was
That is
wacky. I remember Lori Z looked out the window. We were both just the country bumpkins, like,
what is that? What is this stuff?
uh, it's white and everywhere.
Do you
It
remember
was crazy.
you anything like first things that you were like, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like this before?
Right?
For me, I mean, we got to go to really, really cool cities like New York. I saw the Statue of Liberty for the first time on the Barney tour. Saw Radio City Music Hall for the first time on the Barney tour. We got to perform there, which was just amazing. Um,
Right?
we got to see all kinds of stuff while we were there.
You saw
Speaking of,
Rockette, didn't you? Didn't you meet a Rockette?
oh yeah, we had like a little promo thing. Somebody was up on a roof in a big purple suit, and
I don't
then
want
the
to talk about
Rockettes
that.
were bringing them in, and
I
what was
did.
cool what was cool about Radio City was we were there for longer than usual. Like our tour pattern was we were there for like Wednesday through Saturday or Sunday or Thursday something. We were just there barely a week. But in New York, we were there 2 weeks. And so we all, Radio City, they let us take turns letting the swing perform for us so that we could sit in Radio City and see a show in Radio City. Because, that's something when you go to New York, you want to go see a show in Radio City Music Hall, but we're the ones playing it, so you can't see your own show. But they let us, sit in the audience and really experience it. And it was halfway through the tour. I think it was like January. So we're, some of the awe of everything had kind of fallen off a little bit. So that really got us back into it, I think. And that was cool. And we got to meet a lot of celebrities backstage who would bring the kids. So that was exciting.
There
Who
you
do you
go.
remember meeting?
I think my favorite now as an adult, which I didn't appreciate when I was 11, was meeting Rob Lowe. He came backstage, I think when we were in LA, it was. And I was
Yeah.
like, I know you. What do I know you from? What movie did we just randomly watch in the hotel room? And it was Outsiders. And I knew him as his role from Outsiders. And he had done so many other famous things. And he's like, really? That's what you know me as? It's from Outsiders? Okay, we're going here. So when he signed his autograph, he's like, stay gold, Pony Boy, or something.
Yeah, he did.
It
Ah,
was so funny
that's
that
so
some
cool.
11-year-old girl knew him from that movie, of all things.
Outsiders.
Well, and isn't that
Yeah.
funny?
That's classic.
Because Barry Pearl was just talking about that too. He remembered
Yep,
Rob
about
Lowe.
Rob Lowe.
Oh yeah, Rob.
Yeah,
He makes an
specifically.
impression. That Rob Lowe, he makes an impression.
Obviously, he did.
For years now, huh? Still,
Uh-huh.
good man.
hmm Yeah, we met
Hey, what?
quite a few celebrities. So
No doubt. Hey, what do you do when you're not acting and other? What do you like to do for fun?
um goodness. Well, I've got 3 kids, married to
Uh,
a handsome man. And we love just, doing stuff. Our oldest daughter is graduating high school this year. So we're all into the senior
Congrats.
things, and our younger 2 love playing soccer and instruments, and yeah. So I'm married. My husband was an athlete, so our kids are like half music theater people, half athletes, and we just kind of combine both worlds and do all the things. So we actually
Right.
took them to New York last October as a family trip.
Okay.
Very cool.
A friend of
Oh,
ours was getting married, and mom went with us, and me and mom were telling them, oh, look, when we were on Barney, we went there. When we were on Barney, we were here. And then we took them, of course, to Radio City and everything. So they
there
hear
you
a lot
go.
about you guys. Um, Josh, speaking of my kids, I have a lot of street cred because I know you, because
Oh
of
dear.
what you do for a living, who you voice on
Oh,
some cartoon anime show, I must say. So I tell
well,
my
that's fun.
kids, yeah, I know the guy who does the voice for such and such characters on such and such show. And they're like, what? You're friends with him? I'm like, yeah. So I get they talk
Absolutely.
about it to their friends a little bit. So
Well, I'm glad I could be of service. I'm glad I could add some positivity to you in your life after we hadn't hung out in so long.
oh
I
yeah,
remember, I remember all the time. Every time I'd see you, I'd do Scooby Doo.
that's a requirement. Yeah,
Uh-huh. Hello.
because when we were sitting in the airport waiting on planes, that's how you would entertain us. You'd do all of your impressions, and Scooby Doo was my favorite.
And
I love it.
mine was Austin Powers. When we first met, he was doing Austin Powers.
Uh-huh.
That was popular at the time, wasn't it? Oh wow. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
We weren't allowed to watch that movie yet, so I don't think that connected with
No, no, I'm sorry. I was
You know,
probably doing a lot of things around you guys that you weren't getting.
looking back, I think that happened. Like, I think some conversations were happening and funny stories were happening that we were told a lot. We'll tell you when you're 30. We'll tell you when you're 30. But for the most part,
God,
you guys were just so great with kids, and y'all were very in tune to, okay, there are kids in the room.
right on. Appreciate that. Tried to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Y'all were good. You're good.
well, you didn't mention also what you do. You still, because you were back then, you were singing, you're still singing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I love it. Dabbled in songwriting a little bit, put out a little Christmas tune a couple years ago. I sing at my church. I actually work for the church now. I don't think, Carrie, since I've seen you last, I've told you. But I help
Oh,
run the children's worship and the children's theater and music program.
oh, that's
So
great.
that's just kind of full circle for me. I just love it.
Well,
No one better.
you've done a couple national anthems, right? At some big
Yeah,
spots.
some places.
Where?
Yeah, some
Tell us
places.
where. Tell us where.
Oh goodness. Um, I mean, living in
Toot
the
your horn,
DFW
girl. Toot your
area,
horn. I'm
there
sorry,
is
say again.
just in the DFW area, there's just so many places to sing. And there's, the Lone Star Park in Grand Prairie. Back when they had that baseball team Air Hogs game, sung it there. My favorite place to sing it was the Cowboys Stadium, although it wasn't during a Cowboys game. It was for another youth game going there, but I stood out on that blue star and just looked at all the things, and that was a fun little moment there.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
anytime you
You,
get to
I
stand on
bet.
the blue star, that's a big deal.
yes, it
That's a
is.
thing. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
So,
It's funny as you were mentioning your husband. I was there at your wedding, your reception, which
mhm.
was very cool because it was at the other ballpark.
Yes, now we call it the old ballpark, but it was the ballpark, and
Yeah, at the Rangers. You had it when it was the Rangers ballpark.
yeah, they had receptions there. We're big Ranger fans. And then, like I said before, Abram, my husband, he's an athlete, so we're big, sports fans and everything. So yeah, that was a cool little spot to have a reception. We had some of our wedding pictures, the park, like the field is behind us and everything. So yeah.
That's
So
so
all these
sweet.
years later, Courtney, what's your biggest memories with the big purple dinosaur?
Oh man. Um, Besides like the stuff we did outside of the show, biggest memories were before the show, getting ready for the show. David Voss would come in and do warm-ups with us and get us all ready, along with David Larson. And then you guys would come in and they would teach us dance combinations just to warm us up and have fun. And then we would do circle before the show. And that was always really special for us, just that little tradition or that ritual that we did before the show. And I'll always remember those.
You got a favorite city you went to?
Oh, definitely New York. But in LA, we got to go to Disneyland, so that's a close second.
Okay. There you go. Nice.
Isn't that funny? Because I wouldn't, yeah, that make for a kid, that makes it complete sense.
Exactly.
What'd you think about the UK when we went to the UK?
I didn't get to go
Oh,
to
wait,
that
that's
one.
right. You didn't go to
I
the
was
UK.
only
I'm
a
sorry.
one.
I'm a jerk.
No, no, no. I was
I
only a
forgot
1 year
about that.
one. When you grow taller than the yellow dinosaur, you get cut. So
Yeah, that's right.
But you
Oh,
did come back to
wah,
Mexico.
wah.
I did.
She came back from
So
Mexico.
the very first year, we did 40
Okay.
US cities, and then the next
I'm
year
old.
we did
Sorry.
another 40 US cities, and then we did a leg in Mexico.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
remember the child, the girl that was playing the role I played didn't want to extend and go to Mexico, so they called me last minute. And again, David Voss, he came to my house and rehearsed with me in my living room, to help me remember all the dances because it had been a year since I've done it. He retaught me all the
Wow.
dances and
Do
some of the
remember that
changes that were
now.
made. And we practiced lip syncing to the Spanish tracks because they didn't have us speak those live. There wasn't enough time to learn it to do it live. But yeah, and then I got to do the Mexico leg with you guys, Mexico City and Monterey, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
As
Craziness.
adults, we will never, ever, ever forget Monterey.
Yeah.
One, if you don't know this, Courtney, none of the local crew people showed up. So our crew had to do the whole load in.
I
All of
remember.
that. Yeah.
Two,
And it was outside.
two, it was about
Sorry.
110.
I don't know how you guys did that in costume.
And then I don't know if you know, and I think Josh, well, I know Josh knows this. Yeah, you probably don't know, but during that show, there was a pin in my costume that came loose.
Oh, okay.
And it poked my calf for 30
Bad.
minutes.
Oh my goodness.
And when I came out, my whole calf was just bloodied down.
Oh no.
And of
I don't
course,
remember that, thank goodness.
Sloan, I should let you, Josh, do the impression of that.
Oh my God. What happened to your leg?
Oh
Shauna,
man.
we've got to get this costume cleaned.
we bandaged that sucker up and went back out.
Put you right back in. Yeah.
Put
Oh,
you
yeah.
back in.
You
Let's go,
guys would
Carrie. Fix the
always
costume.
Right.
talk to us and use us kids in emergency situations
Yeah.
because there are times when the characters would be huddled and like another character was speaking at the front of the stage. You guys would take that time and be like, run on stage. I need such and such. Tell Josh we need to switch. Tell
Yeah.
we were your go-between
BTS.
between you guys and like the stage managers and us kids. We just skip off the stage. Carrie needs this. Carrie needs that. Skip back on.
Little 10-year-old pros. Little 10-year-old pros kicking it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was cool too to be able to rely on you and not have some kid. I don't know what he said. I don't know. He might be sick or something. No,
Uh-huh.
Courtney's like, you got it, Josh. I'll be right back. Mo will be right here. Or
Exactly.
It was
Well,
so cool.
it had to have been an amazing experience for Mexico City was a pretty cool experience. That theater is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Amazing. And we talk
So
about
many
too,
things.
and I think you were involved in, down in Mexico, they do merchandise better than the professionals do.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I have, gosh, I should have dug it out. I still have a shirt that we bought off the street in Mexico, and it had the dinosaurs on the front and then the cast on the back, and it was, Cindy, Kevin, Raquel, Mama Ganza, and
Yes.
it was one of my, I kept it all these years. It was one of my favorite souvenirs or my little piece of swag that we got.
Mama Ganza.
Uh-huh.
It's Mama Ganza.
Oh yeah, that was fun. On a you know, when we were not on stage, when we were in those cities, they were overly concerned about our safety. So you guys were, you know, adults and y'all were living your best life and, you know, doing all these things. And they were like herding us from place to place. You know, we were never, I mean, we were kids, so we were never alone anyway. But, you know, they kind of, not to the point of scaring us, but they were, you know, just really cautious with us in certain cities, like big cities. When we were down in Mexico too, there was like this very sense of, you know, safety first kind of stuff. So that was probably the main difference between the kids and the adults was, you know, not only did we have to go to school during the day where you guys were sleeping or, you know, doing promos or, you know, doing whatever y'all were doing, but, you know, there was just, you know, keep the kids here, you know, point A to point B. You guys are on a schedule, you know,
Well, we had the
don't
security.
deviate.
We had the security as well, and I presume you know, but you know, our tour accountant got robbed while we were down
I
there.
did not know. They did
Yeah,
not tell us that.
Randy Dalton had his Rolex stolen and was thrown into a bad situation. Obviously, everything worked out, but yeah, we were told not to venture off the path too much.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so it's kind of the same. I do
South
remember
of the
early,
border, definitely.
Yeah.
yeah, early on, a hotel room was broken into because, and then we started
Mr. Pearl.
adjusting what type of hotels we were staying in, and in inside rooms, not outside rooms, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so lots of things, lots of things.
Thanks to Mr. Pearl. Yep. Yeah, Mr. Pearl and Green Oaks.
Uh,
We know that
Wow.
story very well.
oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, Courtney, it's so great having you on this show. Thanks for jumping on.
Oh, of
Yes, you
course.
did.
I love getting to talk to you guys
So
whenever.
good. Well, congratulations on all your success.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, thank you. Like Carrie said, thank you for taking the time and sharing some stories and some new tidbits. Been
Uh-huh.
great.
Well,
Well,
and
thank you
Josh,
guys so much for
she
having
sent
me.
pictures, so you'll be having these pictures will be popping up too.
There
Oh,
you
very
go.
cool.
Probably from you,
Well,
hollow trick or treating, Josh.
Uh-huh.
oh boy. Oh boy. Well, all I can say is oops. Oh.
Oh my gosh! Well, thank you,
It's much
Courtney,
fun.
and thanks for watching the Mixtape Lounge.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you next week.